I better remember to turn the mic off.
I've got a plan so cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a weasel.
Hello and welcome. Well, I better turn that off as well. Oh my Gideon, what a mess! Oh, blimey. Not with it, I'll tell you. Oh, so Scoot, how the hell do I say that? Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. Oh, blimey. I don't know if anyone's been watching the Sky News this morning. Tony Blair's had something to say. Well, he's been interviewed by Sophie Ridge. He has. Well, that was actually quite a good interview, actually. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I'm going to analyse that a bit later, I think. Have a proper, watch the whole thing. Because I know some people hate him. Some people, a bit kind of like, things were better then. They were. But not now. No. It's a crock of poop. And these global talent visas are also a crock of poop. Oh my Gideon. Expensive. Well, I can't see how that's going to help our economy. No. I think we need to be reminded, really, what Adam Possum said back in 2015, I think it was, when he told us all that Brexit was going to be bad. So I might play that in full at the end of this live stream. But a couple of clips from that as well. Because he's been speaking out, against this global talent visa. Blocking workers from the EU and pretty much everywhere, really. But, when we're in the EU, we didn't need to worry about visas. The cost of it's gone through the roof. It really has. How is that going to help our economy when we can't get the people to do the work already? So we're going to put another block in the way. Just as probably to satisfy their so-called new conservatives, such as Lee Anderson. Philip Petey, remember him? Well, yeah, that's... I can't see how it's going to help. Can you? Because it just seems like complete and a total madness. It's all about, satisfying his base. Those who keep Richie Sunak in place. And he thought to himself, how do I justify where the money's going to come from for, awarding the teachers and what have you this around 6% wage increase? Oh, I know. I'm about to soften them over there by saying this, because it'll block more people, you see. Legal immigration. Well, all this is going to do is push up inflation. This is inflationary. There's no getting away from it, because, we know about, we've been told a million times, including Adam Possum said it a million times, that we've got a supply side shock. And he said back then that Brexit would cause a supply side shock. It's exactly what we're facing now. He's like a prophet. He's a fortune teller. He told us exactly what was going to happen, and it's happened. Pretty much. Whether it be the motor industry, motor manufacturing, what have you. And yet, a whole load of numpties, they still put their flippin' cross in the wrong box that they did. It's just madness. The whole thing is just absolute madness. I keep saying that. I just don't understand why anyone would do it. Why would you cut your feet off? You're not going to be running anywhere on stumps, are you? No. Oh, quite frank, I think they're a whole bunch of
Kipper
that they are. Oh, it's frustrating. Anyway, there's been a tweet. Oh, I kid you not, a tweet. Yeah, and guess where it was? Yeah, on Twitter. Funny that, wouldn't you say? Anyway, before we carry on, let's see who's in the chat. Well, hope you're all having a lovely Sunday and you've got your chicken in the oven. Your roasties. Did it Jamie Oliver style, crushed them all with that? Maybe. I don't know. Then again, it's probably going to be a bit hot for that because people are, melting their faces off and passing out, such as Benjamin Giza, whatever, the president of Israel. Well, he collapsed yesterday. He's okay now. Yeah. I think the Palestinians were sort of like... Anyway, So 91 leads, hello there to you too, my friend. And Chatty Rat, good afternoon, and Scoopnum, Rottenum, Oosna. And what on earth does that mean? And I probably didn't say it right anyway. Anyway, there you go. And Genie Bottle, and Mellow. Oh, I haven't seen you for a while, my friend. Hope you're well. And Ben Riddings, morning all, and Top Smoke. I hope you're well, my friend. We never had any bother in Montiago HLS estate days. Okay. Pork steaks, or do you mean maybe?
In Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
Could be. Well, that ain't going to help the economy. Diddly squat? No. Oh, Marcus, what a plonker. Hello, David Lewis. I hope you're well. And Simon says, Oscar Pistorius runs faster than people with feet. And Oscar Pistorius. I don't even know what that is. Enlighten me. Paras in the Philippines. Good afternoon to you too, my friend. Oh, are you a para? My logo looked like whose backside? What? Oh, hang on, just a sec. Let's have a look at that again. I'm confused. I'm really confused now. Oh, okay. And Jim Doy, greetings. Hey, on we. The visa made evils leaving the building. I'll tell you what, though. I ain't gonna help, is it? It really isn't. Now, we were warned. And yet we voted. Oh, actually, I do not vote for Brexit. No, because I'm not that stupid. It was just so flippin' obvious. You know, barriers to trade. Why would you do it? Makes no sense. Oh, I know, Kemi Badnock. Well, have you seen the headlines? Yeah, the headlines for the... Well, I could probably show you, actually. Oh, it's such good news, it is. And it is. It's in GB News, just so you know. Okay, here we are. Oh, okay, got that. Can be Badnock. And look at that. Oh, block. I don't want that. No. 12 trillion to our economy. It's going to be worth the CPT, PTP, CPT. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the Brexit trade boost as UK signs 12 trillion treaty in a breakthrough that could not be achieved in the EU. Is that clickbait? Because that's the entire economy of the CPT, PTP. And besides, we've already got trade deals with all those countries except Malaysia. Malaysia, tiny economy. Yes, you could argue that they are growing economies. But the United States, they pulled out of it before they changed the name. They said, nope, we don't want nothing to do with that. And they still don't want anything to do with trade deals, free trade deals. Because they're in quite a strong position. So why would they do... No, they're not going to, are they? No. Especially when potentially freedom of movement will come into it. And we had, crikey. Kamala Harris, the other day, she was going on about creating all these green jobs and what have you in her little speech. And then she said about reducing the population. What's she going to do, have a cull? Is Biden planning a cull? How are you going to reduce the population? Unless they all emigrate or die off and you don't make them more. Well, that could actually be happening already, to be fair. Not the cull, but, natural cull, maybe. Maybe just going to put them out in the sun for a bit. Then we'll get heat stroke and fall over. Why would you say that? Sounds a bit like Stanley Johnson, where he says we need to get the population down to about 12 million. Yeah. Was it 20 million? Or something like that. Oh, these people. I don't know. We're all doomed. We're doomed, we are. I tell you, we're doomed. And it does hope you well. They are growing economies from a very low starting point. Of course they're going to grow. It's just like post-pandemic and what have you. You're going to have some growth in the UK, of course. We had growth for about a month. After lockdowns, we had growth for 1 month, and then it flatlined again. We had a little bit of excitement, and then, okay. Ain't quite so exciting after all. No. Hello, Vicky Clee. I hope you're well. And Gingers! Oh, I got you out of bed. I'm sorry. Oh, did I tickle your toes? In case you didn't hear me yesterday, Your date you gave me is absolutely fine. Yeah, Vic Gingers is coming to see us. Oh, that she is. Look forward to it, that we are. Do. Oh, see what we got over here, and we'll get into it, shall we? Right. Oh, dearie me. Oh, they tell us all this stuff to try and boost us up, you see. Don't talk down the UK, goes Kemi Balanock in an interview on Sky TV this morning. I was all a bit kind of nondescript this morning, to be fair. I think the highlight of the day actually was, dare I say it, Tony Blair. Is that what a real politician looks like? I'm sorry, I know some people are going to shoot me down in flames. War criminal! Yeah. But I have to admit, things seem to make more sense back then. Especially when his mantra, 3-word slogan again, but the same word. Education, education, education. That's a no-brainer. We invest in your people and your people will prosper. He also said, in his interview with Sophie Ridge this morning on Sky News, he also said that we mustn't become an insular country. The people of Britain mustn't become insular, which is kind of what a bit fearsome of that at the moment. Fearful of that at the moment, to be fair. And we need to experience other cultures. Well, we're not going to do that if we stop people coming. And also stop us from being able to easily experience other cultures, whether it's just in the EU or further afield. No. Culturally, we're doomed. Where's the culture in the UK now? Oh my God. It's like, yeah, but no, but. Little Britain. You remember Little Britain with David Williams? I think he pretty much had it to a T. Yeah.
Pete says no.
Oh dear. Well, so-called Brexit trade boost as the UK signs its 12 trillion treaty in a breakthrough. But you got the Express using that headline. If you can see it there. Brexit trade boost as UK signs 12 trillion treaty in a breakthrough that could not be achieved in the EU. That's clickbait. You first see that, what do you think? Oh my goody aunt. We are going to quadruple our own economy by joining this CPTPTCP. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. No. Even in 50-odd years. Which might happen to be.
I think it's rather uplifting.
Also,
the clock is ticking.
So quite frankly, I agree with Adam Possum. It's very difficult at the moment not to agree with him because pretty much everything he said has come true to a T. It's like he's been in the future. He knows what's going to happen. He's got back again and told us all this stuff. You see, yeah, he's got a crystal ball or something. Well, according to Possum, Brexit is bad. I think we all know that now. Well, knock me down with a feather, quite frankly. Who'd seen that coming? We all pretty much saw that coming if you got a hint of a brain cell. All this sentiment, sovereignty, well, that gets you nowhere. We need common sense, but like I say, common sense is no longer common. Well, yeah. Oh dear. Certainly didn't have a shred of it, did we? Common sense is. Well, does it take a genius like Adam Possum to point out the flipping obvious? Because it is obvious. What he was saying pretty much was obvious what was going to happen, to be honest. But there's more, isn't there? Immigration. It turns out that immigration is vital for the UK economy. Because we're not making people anymore. No. There's like 1.1 per child per family there, which I think the minimum was like 2.5 or something. Yeah, I don't know where we get the half kid from, or the 0.1. But, or 0.2 or whatever it was. But anyway, we're not making people like we did used to. No, we're not making enough. So we need immigration. For various reasons, socioeconomic reasons, but also because of, I can't swim straight. We've got deformed, reproductive stuff. Without saying it on here and everyone clicking away. But anyway, we have. But, so we find it harder to conceive. So population's going down there as well. And also that's progressive. It's not just now. It's going on to the future until eventually we can't make people anymore in the Western world. because the PFAs and what have you, polyphenol alkalies, I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, whereas in third world countries where they're not, affected by the PFAs, such as DuPont, Teflon, and all that, and so from other sources as well. It's not just those sources, but they're not affected by it. So third world countries have the ability, apart from obviously the fact that they have to, because the only way they can maintain their population is to make more babies because they lose them, sadly. And we're going to be seeing more of that with global warming, climate migration, all that, which is going to be, what I can see, is going to be the thing that actually tops our population up, and we're going to need it. If we can't make it ourselves, we're going to need a little bit of a helping hand, aren't we? Or, maybe we can buy it, maybe, I don't know, sperm by post or something. I don't know. Either way. Anyway, let's get off that topic though. So we do need skilled workers. Yeah. From the EU and other countries, obviously. For research, development, and needs other industries. And obviously it's a good thing. It's almost as if, diverse perspectives and talent from around the world can actually help a country thrive. Oh. Well, look at the United States, for instance. They stole that country. Look at Australia. They stole that country and all. New Zealand. We like stealing countries. Oh, okay. And now they're doing better than we are. Now, we were told that immigrants were stealing our jobs and our women. That we were.
Coming over here,
Draining
taking our jobs and our
draining
women.
our resources. Well, it turns out it's the opposite. We needed these people. We know that net migration was a positive. We know that was good for the economy and good all round, I reckon. It was only those nut jobs, like a little Hitler geezer from the National Front, whatever his name is. I've got his name now. Oh, my giddy aunt. They was on a parade the other day. I think it was yesterday. He was doing a parade. And he was wearing sort of normal clothes instead of his usual Hitler outfit. And it wasn't until someone did a freeze frame of him himself. Actually, I think I might have it here. Yeah, a little freeze frame of him that we could see what's going on. Oh, here we are. I got it here. I'll show you. I've got my name in the geezer now. Oh, crikey. Alright, here we are. Where's it gone? Oh! Ooh! No, the tweet's been deleted. Oh, it's been deleted. This is on there. Let's have a look. Nope, it doesn't exist anymore. Gone. Blimey. Anyway, it's this geezer. Anyway, he was doing this. God, how come I got deleted? Him. This little runt. Horrible, hard little crit. Him in the middle there. Yeah. Right little Hitler. Well, because someone just called him Hitler. And I just did. Oh no, I don't want to get sued. But he's just horrible. Oh, he's a foul individual, that he is. So we need people. Anyway, but there's a cherry on top of that old Brexit Sunday. The global talent visa. Oh my God, if it wasn't bad enough post-Brexit, it's just been made a whole lot worse. It's like, it's like we're not trying to attract the brightest minds to the country anymore. Maybe it should be like some kind of bargain benefit. Well, who needs innovation and progress when we can just save a few quid, right? Increase the fees, maybe. I think we're cutting our nose off to spite our face. And our economy, as a result, is crumbling. It really is crumbling. The GDP is pretty much up there still. It's not growing, but it's maintaining the status quo. But it's not growing. In fact, the cost of getting there is more costly. And our national debt is just over 100% of our gross domestic product. Under Tony Blair, it was around 35%. It's not looking good, is it? No. Well, brilliant. I suppose in conclusion, this Brexit catastrophe could have been avoided. It's too bad we didn't listen to the likes of Adam Possum and other experts. Oh, mustn't listen to the experts. No, we're all fed up with experts, apparently. And the facts. An ideology of ignorance, I suppose. Fortunately, it was quite a close vote, really. 52-48%. So we're not all stupid, no. But, we'll still keep bashing the old Brexit drum. It's a bit like, Empire of Delusion. It's just nuts. Anyway, back into the chat. Oh, and I'm going to share a tweet with you. It's quite a good tweet, actually. It's quite a long thread, but it explains the cost of... somebody on Twitter shared it with me. Mr. Knott, if he's there. I don't know if he's here at the minute, but that was very thankful for that we are. And Korea Library often does it as well. Shares me stuff. But yeah, it's just nuts. It's painful. Ginger says, I'm booking my flight today, Marcus. I'll see you in September. Look forward to it. And come and look at your tree. Do. War is always about resources. Well, that's the Gulf War for you. Pretty much, wasn't it? Oil, really, wasn't it? And that's why I'm pro fox hunting. You are joking. I'm not. Block. Well, yes, I agree that the Mohammed is the number one name in the UK and Ireland. It's important to embrace immigration. I ain't got a problem with names or race or creed. I don't see. You know what? The only thing I judge people on is not what they are, but who they are. I don't care what race or creed you are, as long as you treat people with some sort of common decency. And if you're an ass, let's call you an ass. Quite frankly. And sometimes, people make mistakes and that as well, don't they? Obviously. Prince Harry. Oh my giddy aunt. Don't say Prince Harry. Here we go. Hello, don't Dick. Don't Zick. Don't. And Rebecca McDougall. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm live again tonight, by the way, just in case you don't know. But we are. That we are. And I'm going to try and keep this to an hour for a change. I've got stuff I've got to do, And I'm going live tonight as well, anyway. So put Wally up if you've seen the Who photo. I haven't. Oh dear. Oh, you talking about Who Edwards? I think I made my point of view on that pretty clear the other day, because I don't buy any of it. I'm sorry, but I know people can disagree with me. But the idea that the police have investigated Who Edwards is bollocks, because there's no investigation been done whatsoever. So to say there's nothing illegal been done, they don't know. They don't know. You don't do an investigation overnight. It's political. The whole thing's political. Morning, Bayerberg. I hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're busy on TikTok. I couldn't keep up with TikTok because I'm so busy. Put all the up. Have you seen Who photograph? Ooh, yes, Govler was right. What? Don't believe the experts. You're having a laugh, aren't you? Oh dear. All right, there we go. Anyway, let's get into this tweet. This tweet is quite interesting, and it just lays it out. Pretty much lays out what it is. I've got to find it first. Oh, here we go. It's a thread by a guy called Martin Smith. It's at Martin R. Smith on Twitter, if you're wondering. I might leave a link in the description down below. It's quite interesting. And quite worrying in many ways, because we do need people. And unfortunately, everything this government is doing is just trying to block people. It's like, oh, I don't know. I've always got my brown face in, I'm going to pull up the drawbridge. How come? Do you know what? I don't understand. I watched, reading an article earlier about Richie Sunak. Racist. How comes all the brown faces we've got in government, which is great that we have, don't get me wrong, they're all racists. That's what it feels like to me. You've got Smilla Brahman and Preet Patel. I don't know if Kwasi Kwarteng is racist or not, but he's certainly an economic idiot. But obviously Kemi Badenoch. Oh my God, that woman. Oh God, I hate her with a vengeance. I really do. She is awful. She's the kind of person you wouldn't want to be a nurse. She's got no bedside manner whatsoever. She is just a cretin. Oh, it's not because of Brexit. While she's discussing something that was put there because of Brexit. Not because it wasn't there before for the UK, Might have been for other third countries, but we are now. We're a third-rate country. Not just third country, we're a third-rate country. Our economy is shit. We're the only G7 economy that's not growing. It's minus. We're in the summer. Our economy should be growing. This is nuts. Oh, God. It's very worrying. It really is. Anyway, let's get into this tweet. Anyway, this guy, Martin Smith, he breaks it down for us, he does. Let's put it over there. Yeah, there we go. And that's quite interesting. So the UK is planning on massively increasing visa costs. Now, currently, a researcher looking at a 5-year global talent visa, together with their partner and 2 children, needs to find £13,400 up front. Up front. Now, who's going to do that when there's no guarantees that you're going to keep the job? There isn't. Just no guarantees. There isn't, especially when you've got a volatile economy as we have at the moment in the UK. You're not going to do that. You're not going to uplift your family to another country, unless the wages are obviously ridiculously high, to the UK for a 5-year visa if it's going to cost you to start with. So you're going to, for start, obviously, yes, this is blocking low-wage jobs, whether it be fruit picking and stuff like that. The hard jobs, the jobs that are really short of people. Who's going to want to come? But now, that's now been increased to 20,900 up front. It's nuts. You've got a calculation here how you come to that figure as well, which is quite good. So, it's just not. This is just. Oh, right. Let's start here. Okay. As Wellcome, Universities UK and Royal Society have argued for several years visa costs are already far too high than other countries. Well, universities with visas and what have you, well, obviously you've got education visas and that, but also don't forget you've got the lecturers and what have you. They're not just all British citizens. And Tony Blair was saying, we need to be open to other cultures so we can experience other cultures. It's really important. Of course it is. Well, the counter-argument goes that the UK science, plus NHS, is a Rolls Royce who can command a higher price or something. And that's what the Royal Society, I'll go into that in a minute. So imagine how the UK doesn't join Horizon Europe. Ooh. Well, at the moment, Richie Sunak is still dragging his heels. The EU have offered, it's been negotiated. It's been on the face of it, all the T's crossed and I's dotted. It's just now it needs Richie Sunak to pull his finger out of his derriere and, say, okay, then let's sign it. Let's get this done. But no. He says that he would rather have his own, the UK to have its own science programme. Now, even if we were spending the same amount of money, which probably wouldn't be the case, we haven't got access to all these other scientists' brains. T-foul heads. Now, that's talent strategy Sir Humphrey Ward described as courageous. Now bear in mind that the government estimated in 2021 that it needed an additional 150,000 researchers and technicians by 2030 to go alongside the planned increases in research and development spending. Hence, this arc here, we're going to say it in a minute as well. Now, immigration health surcharge. This is how it's worked out. This is actually nuts. Jumped. It used to be around £250 before Brexit. Well, it was 624 to, it's now jumped to 1,035 per annum for each adult, and from 470 to 776 for each child. This is for 5 years. Now, that's 5 years old, yeah. Sorry, I believe for each, yeah, and 10,000 for the adults. 10,350 for the adults and 7,760 for the kids. And so the Global Talent Visa, I love how they're giving all these trendy names and what have you, just Global Talent Visa. It makes it sound so welcoming and warm and, oh, come over here, we're not going to sting you. No. It's not Broken Britain. No. It's not Rip Off Britain. No, of course not. No. Try and buy a house. You'll be lucky. Well, GTV application fees currently £623 per person, assuming the stated 50% increase, 716. 45. So that's the application fees itself, just for the visa. That equals 2,866 up front. So now we've got the 20,976 total. It's great, isn't it? a family is going to have to pay, of 5, before they even earn a penny, is going to have to find that amount of money. Now, unless you got one of these fantastic jobs, what have you, and your employer, your new employer, is going to be paying all these fees, well, then, not be funny, that's going to be a right block for talent coming into the UK. It really is. It's just madness. Absolute madness. Anyway, back into the chat again. I don't want to ignore you now. Hello, Vicky Lee. They'll have to pay for access to the NHS now. Well, they do. But it's gone up by a lot. It used to be at 250, but yeah, don't forget they're already paying national insurance contributions while they're working as well. They don't get away with that. They've got to pay UK taxes. If it's, it's PAYE or whatever. And we can avoid that, I suppose, if they were a foreign company, but then things would be different. It would be, I'm just I'm holier than thou Catholic. What? Where's the link? Why do you think the police, BBC, and government had a meeting? Have we got a bit of a conversation going on there? I think we have. Oh dear. Well, the powers in the Philippines evidence that Mohammed. Oh, done that one already. Mohammed. The Tories are a joke. Well, you're not wrong. They are completing that joke. It's just madness. And if you think about it, ever since Brexit, what have they actually achieved apart from a few bills that are really against the people who voted them in there? Such as a protest bill, for instance. Our right to protest has pretty much been scuppered. We had, Steve Bray with his megaphone. His old tin can megaphone. He was there in Westminster trying to disturb a Tory party. And the police turned up, so you can't use that. No. Not allowed to use any equipment to enhance your voice. So no digital or electric, amplifiers or anything like that. And now no megaphones, even though it's got no electrics in it. So there he was, cupping his hands and doing it like that instead. He's going to get a sore throat, that one, I'll tell you. It's just got how we are now, isn't it? It's just in the... you know what? I would never, ever move back to the UK. I think the only way to take me back there is in a box, quite frankly. I'll visit the kids and that's as far as I go. Even then, I'm reluctant. But I've got my family coming soon, so next week, I've got my daughter and her 4 kids coming. Hubby's staying at home. He's got to hold the fort and, earn the money. It's going to be mad. Oh, crikey. They're clever kids, but oh my God, noisy. Oh my God, struggle. I really struggle with that. It's lovely to say it, but the noise. Oh my God. I'm going to need some. I haven't got any. I can't afford them anyway, but I'm going to need some noise cancelling headphones. Get some Bose or something like that. I don't know. Oh dear. I'd take a penny right now. Anything more than 0. Pretty much. I'll wait till £20,000 and it's like £100. So I'll wait till £20,000 is about £100. Yeah. Paying all the Brexit robbery money for a visa to get paid the lowest minimum wage is a bloody disgrace. That's the thing, you see. There's no one going to be coming to the UK with this visa scheme, with a so-called global talent visa or any short occupation list visas. They're not going to come because the costs. It's just madness. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do, like you say, a minimum wage job to pay all that money out front. That just makes no sense. And then I've mentioned this 3 times before about the Nepalese who came over last year, and they had to. They came over to the UK under the pretense of this visa, which took too long. It took 6 months to get the visa. So got their work visa, but at that time the crop.
So you had accepted the truth.
So they just got sent back again. They cost them £3,000 to come over to do this work with this promise to earn all this money, but when it came down to it, they are in debt and they got sent back early, so they never got to recoup the money. And when their cost of living in Nepal is extremely low, they could maybe earn enough money to take them through the winter. That's why a lot of people come over to the UK to work the fields and stuff like that. Like the Romanians and what have you coming over, hard workers, really tough, hard. We're talking about people who get there on their hands and knees and work on 9 hours a day in that heat. Some quite actually longer days, like 12 to 15 hours, 7 to 16 hours days. Working in these fields, earn as much money as they possibly can, So then they've got their, they've got their buffer for the winter, and they'll survive on that and just drink vodka or something. I don't know. But we need them. And we can say, take all that money out. We're talking about relatively small amounts of money. The people who are taking the money out, the ones who we should really be flipping shouting from the rooftops about, is those extracting the monies out of the UK. Investing in property, investing in businesses, putting in holding companies, and then taking the money out of the country without paying, legally, without paying any tax. Because of flipping Boris Johnson in 2019 when he reintroduced it. Flipping Karen for all his ills and his fun with that pig, or if that is true. Ask his bloke shot, she'll know. Anyway, fun with that pig. All his ills and his shepherd's hut or whatever, all tools in his shed. But, which is another tool, another tool in the tool shed. But he got rid of it. He said, no, this ain't right. He got rid of it. And then you got the other thing of what he did. He got rid of all the blooming Freeport in the UK. He says, well, this ain't working, is it? No Freeports. Come Boris Johnson, all of a sudden we're going to have lots of Freeports. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be wonderful. Yeah, we're going to be handing more money abroad to the likes of DP World and other multinationals, usually based in Saudi Arab Emirates or India, places like that. Extract more money out of the UK's economy. No wonder we're borrowing so much money just to sustain public services. And even then, we're not really sustaining them. All we're doing is, well, bare minimum. Absolute bare minimum. It's not enough. And woohoo! Look at the wages and the striking and what have you that's going on at the moment. We're having to find the money to give pay increases. Pay increases, remembering that we're already stolen from these people under George Osborne, and there we are with George Osborne if it was ranting and raving because someone threw orange confetti over him and his missus. So what? He's responsible under the austerity plan of killing over 30,000 people. Oh, quick, how many times am I going to repeat that line? We get angry over things that we should not be getting angry about and ignore the stuff that we should. To me, it's absolute madness. It's about priorities. And we don't seem to prioritise. We're going on about who Edwards and what have you sort of dominated the press in last week. And like I said, I don't buy it. But there you go. That's my point of it, my opinion. I'm not going to get into that one. No, don't do it, Marcus. But anyway, what about things like that and other crap that's going on? And I'm coming over in the little boats and what have you. We need these people as well. We actually need those people coming over those boats. So instead of actually just pushing them away, let's just throw them a line and pull them in. We're so short of people. Maybe we wouldn't need so much immigration, as in people getting these visas and what have you. We should be handing them visas as they come in. Just like we did in, Windrush. Because we needed them post-war. We needed these people to rebuild the country. And this is kind of a war at the moment. It's a war between parties, and war between the people in the parties, and a war between, the economy and the Tory party. Because, if we don't get on top of this, we're buggered. We really are. Absolutely. That's putting global warming to one side, rising temperatures and climate migration. If we don't get the basics, the baseline sorted out, how on earth are we going to build them? We've got nothing to build off. It's such a shame. It's a crying shame. Because UK and all its little countries, what have you, is absolutely beautiful. It really is. I'll defend that to the hill. I really will. It's a beautiful country run by a whole load of flipping idiots that don't have the people's best interests at heart. It really doesn't. All the planet. I'm back into the chat. Oh, I know. Did I say a super chat? I think I did. Oh, from the weird name, Scoopnum Ratanum Uzna. Cheers, buddy. I assume some companies will pay the Global Talent Visa for their employees. Yeah, they will, but not for fruit picking. That's not the value, isn't it? And also, they're short-term visas. They've tried it. It's too expensive. It doesn't make things cheaper. It doesn't make it more cost effective. It's the only reason why they're using more immigration. Well, they're trying to get them. That is well, actually further afield as well, not just obviously from the EU. Actually, less from the EU now. Look at the NHS. Hardly any immigration for the NHS is coming from the EU. Most of it coming from places like Nigeria and countries like that. So you could argue that it is say that the companies are going to pay for them to come over. Assume that some companies will pay for their global talent visa for their employees. Also, if they're coming from the States, it might be cheaper than their normal health insurance, maybe. That is a really valid point. I hadn't thought of that one. But do people in the United States get paid more money than those in the UK? But then it'll depend on what sector. If you're going to banking or something like that, you might be raking it in, in the city. So then it makes sense. That's a really good point, actually. Thanks for that, Vicky Clee, because actually I'd never thought of that. That's very true. So what she's saying here is, if you're on the global talent visa and you're paying for your NHS contribution, which is the what was £1,100 a month, £1,100 a year, well then that will be most definitely cheaper than health insurance in the US. And don't forget, US health insurance doesn't cover everything, Oh, Mellow says, I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know if I'll be back again. Hold me, darling, please. Don't let me go. Okay. Oh, the truth has been accepted, says Scoopnum Ragnatum Uzna. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that again. So, Jim Toy, Paris in the Philippines. Oh, hang on, too far up now. There we go. I work every weekend in summer and may only have a day off. A day off is a Monday. Says Sabine. Joe says, Ginger Giraffes, she is a lovely lady cat. And it seems I am her dad. She adopted me. Okay. Is that true? I don't think so. I work during the week. In the weekend, I have some freedom. Now, for me, my work is really sporadic. Because I'm doing this at the moment, it's kind of what I'm doing really at the moment. I've got a couple of woodworking jobs in at the moment, which is quite good. But most of the time, it's just doing this. So, the amount of research, trying to keep your head to the ground, it takes so much time. And it's not just me to turn on the machine, because, because obviously every day something new happens, doesn't it? And you've got to be reasonably on the ball. You might have just, rant a point of view and what have you. You can just turn it on and go, I suppose. But you might think I've got loads of confidence, but I haven't. I'm really a very nervous person. I get it from my mother. So I have to make sure that I've done a bit of research and what have you, and made a list of things I want to cover and what have you, and it's kind of like there. But it's also quite good for me in the sense doing this is almost like revision, if it makes any sense. You're kind of like reminding yourself all the time the stuff that, because my memory's a bit repetitive. I have a sort of my retention for memory is a bit repetitive because I forget things really easily, especially these days. I think something's wrong going on out there, I'll tell you. And I find that just constantly telling it again and again and again, it sticks then, sort of repetitive. Years work on building sites and stuff like that, you see, and woodwork and electrical work and all that sort of stuff. They're quite. Although if you're working with somebody, it's quite good, but you are quite insular within your little group. Especially if the person in your little group is reading The Sun, and all they want to talk about is the headlines. They never read them; they just look at the headlines and the pictures, and then in those days it'll be the page 3 as well. Oh dear. But that is good. This is actually quite good for me in many ways, but it's constant.
So you have accepted
education,
the truth.
if it makes any sense. Oh, what's that? Oh, cheers, buddy. Makes sense to me. Yeah, it's just one thing, so you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it, keep learning, and just keep pushing, keep pushing. Because I think really, when you think of the end game at the moment, it isn't looking good, is it? And I think we need more voices out there, more people to basically just saying how it is. And I've told you this before, and something I won't do is I won't lie. I'll make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, obviously, but I won't deliberately go out there and lie. I just won't do it. So I've been lied to all my life by various people, and it's really screwed me over in many ways, and mentally, but also financially, and that. And I'm not going to inflict that on people. So we need more voices that are relatively open-minded to stuff, not necessarily narrow-minded. So I'm not going to, if Labour does something that I feel is good, positive, and what have you, and it makes sense to me, I'll say so. But if the Labour Party does something I think is absolutely stupid, like make Brexit work, flipping kipper, I'll say so. Flipping bonkers. But anyway, oh crikey, yeah, I got to do it now.
Don't be a blonde crawl, Rodney.
I'll say so, but I'm not gonna just go on. Yeah, like for instance, be a Labour lackey. I'm not gonna do it. If I think that somebody in the Tories have actually said a bit of sense, such as George Useless earlier today. Oh my God. The man who turned his back on the Ode to Joy when he's in the Brexit Party, but he is actually starting to talk a bit. So it's like he knows he's it's the end game now, isn't it, for the Tories? They know it. They're all resigning in the shake-up in the cabinet because they got to run down that 2-year lead time thing before they can do any proper work and stuff. If they've been on the front cabinet, so they've got to get out now while they can. Look for the best excuse, and also you don't necessarily be one of those standing on the old, like the Titanic, standing on that sinking, the pulpit, whatever, on the sinking ship. You don't want to be that person. So the best thing is get out now, and they look for excuses and reasons other than saying, "I want to get off the sinking ship," because they're not going to say that. And like for instance, Ben Wallace, he's now announced that he's going to be stepping down. He's going to be resigning from the cabinet in the next cabinet shuffle, and I think some of that is actually, I think he's pissed off. Yeah, he was hoping to be, in charge of NATO, but they didn't want him. Well, he's been in politics, God knows how many years, at least 25 years, I think. And the same George Useless. He's been in politics for 25 odd years, But recently he's been speaking out against immigration and Brexit because he's his family's are farmers, pig farmers. I think he looks like a little pig and all, doesn't he? Don't put him anywhere near flipping David Cameron. He'll have him. Ooh, maybe. Anyway, let's not get into that. But yeah, it's just. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can just imagine it now. Oh, what a scary thought that would be. Yeah. Squeaking up there together. Ooh. Ooh, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh. My son-in-law will study in London in October, Imperial College. Oh, excellent. It's so expensive, I bet. And his grandmother is paying for that, and she has the money. Good. I don't. 39,000 euros. Whoa, it's a lot of money. I hope he's got to pay it back. Cutting along grass a few times for that, I think. As if someone on the London salary can afford £380 a month. Of course, of course they can afford that. But you got to remember, this visa scheme's for everybody. It's not just those in city jobs. At the end of the day, they won't pay it anyway. Their employer will pay it. But if you talk about the farmers and stuff like that, and we need food, people need to eat, and then we've got no food security in the UK as it stands. Even the government is admitting it's at least 50% now. I reckon it's nearly 80% from what I can see. As in what we import into the United Kingdom, and it's going to be like 95% very soon. We're importing pink onions from New Zealand already are on the supermarket shelves in Tesco's. Pink onions. What the hell is a pink onion? It's like Himalayan pink salt. Was it got cochineal food colouring in it or something? I don't know. But anyway, we already started. Pork and beef, what have you, is already being imported by the tonnage into the UK. It's just crippling British farmers. They can't trade the other direction. They can't compete. It's all ready for sale. Oh, open the markets up for us. We can sell our stuff. Our British beef. We'll send it to New Zealand and and the and Australia. That ain't gonna happen. No, it's too expensive because we have standards, animal welfare, husbandry, and all that. We have standards in the UK. It's depleting fast because the laws are changing rapidly, and rules that were set by Tony Blair in '98, I think it was, regarding animal rights and what have you. They, under that Labour government, they did actually set the standard for the EU because the UK brought it in first, and then the EU followed suit. The UK's now left it, and the EU's carrying on with it. It's important. It's not just important because of welfare of the animals. It's important for the quality of the product as well. It's madness. It's absolute madness that it is. Ooh, crikey. But we were warned. We were warned by this geezer. Yeah, where is he? Where's he gone? Oh, there we go. Let's listen to this. You might remember. You might have seen this clip before. I might play the whole thing at the end of the stream. Oh, crikey. Adam Possum. This was back in 2015, and it used to be, Adam Possum. You don't know who he is. He used to be in the Bank of England. Yeah, he left, and now he works for the Peterson Institute, so economic institute, and he talks so much flipping sense. And it's like if you watch this whole thing, about 20 minutes long. I might 26 minutes long. I don't know if I can do that. I might get copyright strike if I do that. No, I better not. Might play some at the end, but I can't play it all though. But anyway, let's listen to what he had to say from this point, because this is the key point.
And this takes several forms. Fundamentally, and again, this is something that I would hope in AEI would be religion. It is across the street at my shop. Putting up trade barriers is bad for your economy. The withdrawal from the EU is a form of putting up trade barriers. Full stop. Now, you can debate how much, how big, which industries, what happens in the end, but it is a withdrawal. Moreover, and this relates to some of the things Ambassador O'Sullivan said, it is a negative supply shock in that you are ruining your competitiveness specifically with your largest trading partner. It is a fact of life. It's one of the few things in economics we can talk about as a fact of life, that gravity applies. What is gravity? You trade far, far more with the countries you are contiguous with and the countries that you historically have interacted with than with countries that are far away. That is true for the US in the context of NAFTA. That is true for the UK. No matter how much there's been a special relationship, no matter how much the UK tries to be a global exporter, the fact is you've got more than twice as much trade with the EU, more than twice as much investment with the EU as you do with the US, or let alone the rest of the world. As David Cameron pointed out when Prime Minister while I was at the Bank of England, the UK does more trade with Ireland than they do with the BRIC countries combined, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So this is negative, full stop. And even if we were to get the kind of UK-US trade deal that Ambassador Bolton puts forward, I don't think we will, and I'll explain that at the very end if we have time. But even if we were, it would not matter very much compared to this shock. Additionally, because the UK had this special status as the less regulated, less low-tax, English-speaking, rule of law place, not that all of that was in question elsewhere in the EU, and certainly Ireland was similar, but had this special place, and people liked living in London, you had a huge amount of investment in the UK as a platform to enter the EU because you were part of the EU deal. That goes away. It may not go to zero. It will gradually come down. I see a representative, for example, of Toyota Motor Corporation here. Toyota, Nissan, Ford all have disproportionate amounts of their European auto production in the UK. All have indicated that they will not expand those production, will probably decline those production points in the UK when the UK loses full market access.
He pretty much goes on like that all the way through, and everything he's said has come true. We've got Stellantis. They're saying, well, it's Persia and what have you. Vauxhall, sorry. And it's said, well, we're buggering off. Persia shutting up their forecourts, and so many of the others as well. So it's all going to be online regarding purchasing cars. So Ford are pretty much saying the same thing as well, all down to the rules of origin. And he outlines it. I'll leave a link in the description. I don't know if I can play it all because it's that's going to be copyrighted. And that's the Peterson Institute of Economics, not Pizza Institute. I saw that. Who said pizza? Oh, Ben. Ben Ridden says, "Oh, a Pizza Institute." It's probably my accent, Peterson. Have I got to say have I got to do all the phonetics? If you're watching this live, share the link on your social media. Let's make Marcus famous. Oh, one share at a time. Cheers, baby. Yeah, please, do the old business, obviously. Oh, my like button's not working. What's happened to my like? Oh, there we go. It's back. Oh, it's like a delay. That's just, it just gets me. I watched this a few times all the way through this video. It's like a reminder. It's just, it speaks. You got Master Bolton was there as well, from, the United States. It's like everything Adam was saying has come true. And he's been saying other stuff recently as well regarding this visa scheme. He said it's a bit silly, pretty much. So, oh, God. Where is it? There we are. Immigration war on itself, he says. Yeah. This is just yesterday. So, yesterday? No, it's today. Oh, he's done it today. An immigration war on itself to follow on the trade war on itself. You can't really say fair enough. You can say an immigration war on itself to follow on the trade war on itself. That's Brexit in a nutshell, isn't it? Now, UK own goal again, he says. Wrong way, Britain, for your economic future. This isn't due to Brexit, of course, but after you put up a barrier to EU workers. Remember that obviously this, what it means by that, it's not because of Brexit, it's because it's for all third countries. But, every country that hasn't got an agreement. But after you put up a barrier up to EU workers, why make it harder to make up for that loss? Now, it's actually in, let's open a new tab. He's done an article in the New European. Or he's been, talking to the New European. These people. Oh my god, I might have to make. Hang on, I think I got it in a better folder. There we go. Let's bring it down here. Yeah, I have. I'll do it in a minute. Back to the chat. I don't want to forget about you. Hello, Mark's biggest fan. Oi, 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 oi to you too. Oi, oi. Oh, do. Hello, vase of flowers. I hope you're well. I'll get 40 odd people there. That's not too bad, is it? I did the math. It was expensive for foreigners then, too. But now that includes EU students, yes. And many governments paid for their students to go there. Well, we've got no agreement, have we? No. Is it now the Alan Turing project now? Erasmus is gone. Well, not gone. It's gone for us. In the UK, that is. So there's no help there. There's no funding. So it's all have to be paid for. By the individuals. Mummy, Daddy, Grandma, in Sabine's case. Well. I like living in London too. Lots of people like living in London. I love Covent Garden. I do like Covent Garden. As a place to visit. Whether I'd want to live in London, it's too dirty for me. And I'm a bit of a natural boy. Not that kind of natural. Oh, saucy. No, I mean I like green stuff. I like the countryside. I like to see the cows. I like to see the sheep. I like to see things in fields and animals and birds and stuff like that and trees. I like to see the trees. I'd rather see all that than see copious amounts of bumper cars and people that seem to be too busy for each other. That's just me. Yeah, I don't think I'd bode very well. I'd get into scraps and stuff constantly, I imagine. It wouldn't be good for me. I'll put a link in the description for that one. I'll tell you what, I'll just... it's at the Peterson Institute. does have a YouTube page, and it's actually on there. If I can find the actual, maybe I can find it on YouTube itself. Open a new tab. Then I'll put the link in the description for you.
So,
Away.
you
May
have
not go to
accepted
zero.
the
It
truth.
will gradually come down.
Oh,
I see a representative, for example, of Toyota Motor Corporation here.
Probably hear it.
Toyota, Nissan, Ford, all have disproportionate.
That they have. I'm going to put that in the chat. I'll say. I just realised that I'm not on there, so I will have to. I haven't got the page up on this computer, so I'll just get the page up on this computer. Here you go. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just going to put in the chat the actual. Let's go start playing. Let's get rid of that. Start play. Don't play. Yeah. Chat. Control C. Do. Pause that. Okay. Do. Oh, there we go. Alright. There we are. Here it comes, flying over. If you haven't seen this, definitely worth a watch. It is from 2015, and it's Adam Possum, Bolton, John Bolton from the USA, and a couple of others as well. But it's really worth a watch. So do that once you have, once I clock off, which won't be long. Alright, now where was I? New European. Okay, so. Yeah, Toyota, Nissan and Ford all live in London. Oh, Dagenham. Well, Nissan's, you got Nissan of, it's in Sunderland, isn't it? Sunderland. Yeah, Joel, it's a must watch because it's like pretty much everything he said has come true. Pretty much. Hello, Moonlight. Jim Toy, cheers, buddy. Is there any chance you can do a video from Lascaux Caves at some point in the future? Yeah, why not? Lascaux Caves. You talk about the Neanderthal man caves. That's right, isn't it? I think that's right. We went there actually a couple of years ago. No, 3 years ago in the camper. But our camp is going to be on the road, and within the next couple of weeks it'll be on the road again. So once the temperature comes down, because we can't go in there at this temperature, it'll be just too hot. We're going to be going from place to place. And me and Mrs. will be doing our videos in different locations in France. So, I think it'll be pretty cool, to be fair. Talking about the same sort of stuff, but also, what's around us as well. So, yeah, Lascaux Caves. It's the Neanderthal drawings inside the caves, isn't it? We've only got light. There's some other really good places around there to visit as well. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Oh, an idiot. Copy. And then on there. Drop. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Lascaux Caves. That's not far from here. It's about hour and a half from where I live. It's not far. It's just safe from here. It's near that. Oh, crikey, not Gartomp. In that Noir Valley. But I've got two mice, and I keep forgetting which is which for different computers. Right, so yeah, Jim Toy. We'll have a look at that. The only problem we have got is we can't take the dogs around it, but the dogs will be with us. So, providing, I suppose I could do it. And, I don't think Cal will be that bothered. We'll see. North of England is much nice. I know. Do you know what? I've never properly been to Scotland. That's stuff that I must do. Is there a direct flight? A direct flight to Scotland from Limoges, for instance? I bet there isn't, is there? It'd be Stansted. What's the Turing project? An education. What? And chemically castrated? Nah, yeah. Well, the funding is much reduced for a start, but also, I don't think they had much uptake on it. And imitating war on itself and follow on the trade war on itself is the whiffest waff I've ever sniffed since smelling my granddad's slippers. Ooh, bit of a limerick going on there. Sabineville. Yeah, it's where we are in the Limousin. We're not far from Limoges. We're about 30 minutes from Limoges, the city of Limoges. Sort of Virgin City town, but there's lots of lovely places here. There is, there's the grotty places as well. There always is. But on the whole, it's green. It's not very
So,
industrious.
you have
It's
accepted
all
the truth.
about cows, it seems. Farming. Erasmus only gone from Great Britain. Yeah, I know. It's everywhere else still got access, so we just cut ourselves off to something, basically. Again. What benefit? No benefit. Everyone in the UK has just had stuff removed taken away from them. Maybe not Northern Ireland quite so much, but everything's been just taken away. The government of Ireland funds across the Erasmus programme for Northern Ireland too. Ah, interesting. Okay, thank you. Bill Barry. Last year, 1 million visas were issued based on the best and brightest paradigm developed by Padel. And I'm surprised to hear that getting one is such a struggle. It's the cost. It's the cost, and the cost has just gone up. You know? Don't forget, we've got immigration and emigration. You've got to think about net immigration. But you know what's happening now? What has been happening over the last few years, quite a huge proportion of old British expats, immigrants, have moved back to the UK. They were frightened post-Brexit, including my mother-in-law, who used to live here in France. First, she was living in Spain, and she moved to, because we moved to France. And then because she was concerned, frightened, you see, a bit nervous and that, and they moved back to Norfolk. And from having a lovely house here in France, they're now living in a little poxy 2-bedroom bungalow. And it's tiny, it is, absolutely tiny. And now they're getting kind of raped by their 2 sons financially. Because they're not very nice people. So, makes no sense. We've got Lefty Boater. Have we got Lefty Boater? Did I see Lefty Boater? Oh, we have a Lefty Boater. I hope you're well. I was thinking about what you said to me on Twitter the other day. Sorry to hear that. I really am, because it's just not necessary at all. We should let people, if you're not doing any harm to anybody, what does it matter? I just don't get it. I don't. It's like I was saying earlier about, why do we worry about stuff? We worry about stuff that doesn't even affect anybody, doesn't hurt anybody, and yet we worry about, we don't worry about the stuff that does. It's just, with this heat and whatever's coming at the moment, we should really be up in arms, We moan about, complain about someone gluing themselves to a road, but don't moan about the fact that they're handing out licenses to oil fields, new fresh licenses in the North Sea and what have you, and want to reopen or open new coal mining and what? Talk about coal-fired trains again now. We'll give it to because I stoked the old burner. What the hell? I was clean coal. A very wise man once told me that he did.
Like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
His viewership is plummeted on the DVDs. He's getting a bit of a stick at the moment, that he is. Oh, the Neanderthal caves, that they are. The Lacour caves, that's what they are, the Neanderthal caves. Oh, dear. Oh, Lacour, I went there, went there too young to remember. A lot of school trips go there. Can't remember where it is now. On that river that goes up by there, there's beautiful little town and village, but also it's like a walk that goes beside the river, and there's all these carvings on the side. They're quite new. They were quite modern, but fantastic. And it's the old where the Lefty Boaters on a narrow boat. That's where the horses used to go to pull or oxen or whatever to pull the boats along. And it's all cut into the caves. It's a walkway. It's cut into the cliff, the stone cliff face, and walkways. But it's been all carved and stuff. It's fantastic. Looks really cool. We have learned nothing in the past 12,000 years. Yep. Picasso on exiting Lacour. Oh, and he paid someone to say it. Who was that? Oh, the handful. Ben Riddings, thank you, my friend. As far as I'm aware, the original Lacour is closed to the public. Yeah, there's I don't know about the original accord, but I don't know actually. When we went there, you had this kind of bit of a ramshackle place, all fenced off, mate. It was a bit rough, to say the least. But then they go into the caves, maybe. You say, I don't know if it's close to the public or not. I don't know. I've just awoken from a cat dream, says Vase of Flowers. A cat named Sid that passed on nearly 30 years ago. Oh, I remember him well. Oh. Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Up we go. Hello, who? I hope we're well. Who's ever there, Thomas? I was inside. What? I was inside my mum. Allshorts, hence too young to remember. Oh, that will explain it, unless he had a head poking out. Yeah. I was only a teenager last time I went to London, a few decades ago. Well, last time I went to London was... Oh, God, that was years ago. 2006. Yeah, I haven't been... Yeah, we met 2006. I went to a car show there. It was a Top Gear car show. And we went to a house building show. Did a few shows on there. Quite often did the boat show. Yeah, it's got a boat, an old boat, down at Earl's Court. In fact, my brother-in-law actually had a stand there. Well, not a stand. It was actually they developed these hydraulics. So it had a vortex hydraulics. It's like a turbo for hydraulics. Didn't really work properly, so it never took off. But there you go. Cost a huge amount of money to have a stand there, and 1,200 people a day exhaling cause mould to grow an original. Oh, I see. So that's why they've closed it. That makes sense. But you need ventilation, then, don't you? A lot of these old caves, they put up massive fans at the ends and stuff. Great ventilation. It's probably what. Look, if you got all tunnels now, and on the M25, and you got all the fans, don't you? There's to push all the fumes through. Be very toxic otherwise. It would. Anyway, New European. Oh, there it is. Okay, not that one. Might be better doing the other one. Yeah, let's do the other one. Okay, that one. There we are. So, let's get the page out. Oh, now I've lost my page. Not that one. Oh my God, I'm not doing it there. There we go. There it is. So when it comes to Brexit, things can only get worse. I know it's really gloomy, doesn't it? But, it won't be funny. We have to accept where the problems lie, otherwise we're never going to be able to fix them, are we? That's why I just does my absolute brain in when I hear make Brexit work, because you're not accepting what's causing the problems that we're having to deal with. It's just madness. Absolute flipping madness. It really is. Well, world-renowned economist Adam Possum reveals some tough truths about the Britain's situation. This is more recently. So, let's get that back up again. There you are. So, Adam Possum is one of the heroes of Brexit, apparently. His speeches, interviews on TV, available on YouTube, offer a clear and precise explanation of why Brexit is such a mess and why it matters so much. As a head of the hugely influential Peterson Institute, the Washington economic think tank, and a former member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee, such as, he had Andy Haldane as well. He was another one who said Brexit is shit. Crock of shit. Really is.
Welcome to the Brexit, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my
anyway,
God.
Anyway, a former member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee, and he knows what he's talking about. You ain't a kidding. There's no getting away from it. Everything he said pretty much has come true. Well, Possum famously described Brexit as the only time in history when the country has declared trade war on itself, and his opinion has not changed. It's actually getting worse. These self-harms, he says, taking the trade war on itself and now expanding it to the immigration war on itself, on oneself, a fiscal war on oneself, an investment war on oneself, and these mistakes are just going to have longer lasting effects and cause more reputational harm for the United Kingdom. now than they will have a few years ago. They're more costly. Now, Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng undermine Britain's fiscal reputation. What a disgraceful thing to say.
That is a disgrace.
Oh, how can you say such a thing? And now Rishi Sunak cannot see that the country needs more, not less, immigration. And he seems to make decisions not out of pragmatism, but in hoc to populism. There's no getting away from it. Brexit is shit. It really is. Absolute crock-a-poo. It's as good as this. It really is. Well, oh dear. So Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng undermine Britain's fiscal reputation, and now Rishi Sunak cannot see that the country needs more, not less, immigration. Yeah. So Possum can see from Washington, there we go, from Washington, what the current political crisis is doing to the reputation of the United Kingdom. And there have been real governance issues in the UK that you've had 5 prime ministers all taken down because of Brexit. And 5 governments essentially in 7 years because of Brexit. And that's Italy-like territory. Not quite Argentina, but Italy-type territory. And now Italy has... Oh, well, yeah, let's not get into that one. Well, and in the UK, an Italian-style government, as Possum sees it, comes with its own special kind of policy flip-flops. You ain't kidding. Of course, Truss and Kwarteng were the extreme, but we've had a number of volatile and irresponsible economic policies coming out or coming on top of the mistakes of excessive austerity. You thank George Osborne for that. And now we've got strikes. And so to me, this combined with Brexit and the underlying productivity problem have eroded what economists call the credibility of the macroeconomic regime, which means, average people and investors both have less faith in the government's ability to deliver stability or stay in a policy without U-turning. And so the exchange rate, and more importantly, government bonds, interest rates, are more volatile and more vulnerable to downshifts if there's a shock in policy mistakes. You only got to look at the flipping interest rates now. 9 billion a month it's costing, 4.9% for government borrowing. And when you consider it 100% our GDP, it's kind of, wow, where is the light at the end of the tunnel? And I said it before, I'll say it again. When Tony Blair, love or hate him, was the Prime Minister, it was like 35% of GDP, the national debt. But we had austerity since then to bring down the national debt. Okay, we did have the global financial crash. Well, it has added to the costs of Brexit, which Possum has no doubt are worse than the optimists predicted. But it's not because of Brexit. Ask Amy Babcock, she knows, yeah. And Andrew Bailey, who's another Brexit idiot, the Bank of England governor. Not because of Brexit, even though the things they're talking about is directly causes and you can correlate to Brexit directly. It's madness. But people still listen because they're all brainwashed. I just want my Brexit. That's what they say. So he says it's all added to the costs of Brexit. And there's no doubt are worse than the optimists predicted. Now, I tend to be at the high end of estimates of the cost of Brexit among mainstream people, so I put it close to 4.4 to 5% of GDP rather than 2 to 3% in terms of direct costs. I need to work that out because that sounds like a hell of a lot. But I also think it has made inflation worse by creating shortages. Supply side shock, for which he warned us back in 2015. He says because creating red tape from having administrative costs and supply chains moved around. Now, Possum's also turned his mind to how the UK can reverse or at least minimise the Brexit damage. It starts with thinking that the United Kingdom's economy is now a small economy, not a huge first-tier economy. It is a, well, 6th or 7th or 8th in the world, depending on the exchange rate. But it's not China, US or Europe. So you need to change your mentality. And these parallels are some discussions of getting away from nostalgia and imperial thinking in foreign policy and anti-European policy, sovereignty. In fact, we've been giving it away recently, it seems. Anyway, back into the chat before we carry on. It's nuts. The whole thing's madness. Cheers for that, Ben Riddings. Very kind of you. If you do watch Sport Channel, anybody, there is also you got memberships and what have you in that as well. Yeah, if I can make it work, there you go. So class action, that is best explained, is our best living. This is the best explanation of our best living standards. That's class action, yeah. Hello, class action. Hope you're well, buddy. And Peter Rook, hello. Ferry from Amsterdam to Newcastle, then ride up the A68 to North Coast 500. Good for motorbikes. Ooh, not so good for caravans. Oh, so, you know what? Maybe that's what I need to do. Get the old Gizzer, my Gizzer 1400. Yeah, GSX 1400. Need a new seat, really. Though, starting to get a bit sore in the old butt. Direct flight to Glasgow or Edinburgh. What? Oh, hang on, I'm missing something there. 1,200 people a day exhaling, causing mould. I got that. That's excellent. Moonlight Storm Productions. Hello, Moonlight Storm Productions. 2150 AD. What? In the Philippines, there is a law called cyber label. Now, this law is never enforced unless it's against opposition to the government. When that type of law gets passed in the UK, oh my God, no hope for the UK. Well, that's already happening, buddy. The Online Protections Bill is branded as protections for children, but it's not. It just gives them carte blanche to be able to, be Big Brother. Scan your messages. Actually scan your photographs or pictures that you want to share. Your penis pics. Whatever you want to do. There's no pervs, you see. We've already got tractor porn guy, haven't we? Well, he's gone now, but there's plenty of them kind in the Tory party. Well, anyway, they've apply all these rules and regulations on you, and Big Brother watching, scanning your it's gonna end up blocking. Well, big tech in the sense of Apple has spoken out regarding their messaging service. They say, well, no, we don't want no part of this online protections bill. Undermines security. Meredith Whittaker from Signal have said we will stop providing our service in the UK. End-to-end encryption. If this bill is passed, they'll have no choice. It's not because they want to do it. It's because the bill doesn't allow them to function as they have been. And the same with WhatsApp. They pretty much say, well, no, this isn't going to work for us. We'll be off. So, what messaging services will you use then, really? Encrypted messaging services, there's no such thing. It goes against what encrypted, the whole point of it. It's the business model. We want to be able to send the messages and feel safe that no one's watching it. It's encrypted from the day, for the point you send to the point to it's decrypted by the recipient. But now the government wants access to all the images and messages. No, it's not going to work, is it? Don't worry, Marcus. At first I was listening. Pilsner, like some kind of beer brand. Are you talking about the Pizza Institute? I can't even say it now. Oh my goodness, I'm so self-conscious of it now. Well, the bigly, as the orange fruitcake would say. Bigly. It's bigly damaging. That it is Brexit. Ben Ridding says, apologies, Allshorts. It's not a slight on your acts. I don't care if it was, to be honest. My skin's too thick to worry about these things, to be honest. Oh, okay. When you have a YouTube channel, you get loads of vitriol. You really do. You get so much vitriol, and it's just like water for ducks back. They're wasting their time. I'm not going to show any. I don't care. You can't worry about things like that. If you did, you just no. My skin is growing extremely thick, so I'm sorry, I embrace that sort of stuff. If I take the mickey out of people for being fat, I'll say, well, I can't talk or something. I mean, I'm fat. Who am I to say, Oh, I need Bigley, don't I? I need a Bigley sandbite now. That's what I got. We've got water as wet.
And tremendously wet.
Oh, dear me. What else we got here? Well, it's not feeling a bit like the sharks circling us at the moment. I forgot about that one. Didn't realise I had that one.
You have accepted the truth.
Oh, wow, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Oh, items. I got a super chat. Cheers, buddy. Really good video at the end of your previous stream, and the grim reminder of what can happen when extremists and far-right Brexiters get elected to power. Suggest posting it as a separate video. It's actually on the channel. It's already on the channel. So, I made that video, but it's only a few weeks ago I made that one, actually, when I did it up, especially, because I've been promising it for a long time. So I went up there especially and made that video. It's basically, it's referring to, items is referring to a video I made regarding Orador Sir Glenn. Basically, I walked around Orador Sir Glenn, really, and talking about and discussing what happened there. And if anyone don't know, it's basically what happened in World War II, end of the war, and Nazi went in there and literally put all the women and children in the church, shot all the men against the wall with machine guns, and set light to the church. The temperatures got so hot, the bronze bell, actually melted. So and the last survivor just recently died. I think it was the beginning of this year he passed away. Yeah, right by that age, but about 90 or 100 or something. Anyway, right by that age. But it's a like you say, it's a grim reminder of why we mustn't allow governments like this Tory party to get hold. Fascism. Thanks for that, items. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Scrolling down. Nearly time for an afternoon nap. Oh, a siesta. Have your siesta that you have. Especially in the flipping heat with him. Crikey, it's been so warm. It's going to get worse, Work is the curse of the drinking class. Yeah, that's what I drink. In the bay. It's like 2 beers in one, it is. About 8%. Nearly time for afternoon nap. Who's Zebediah Thomas? Very true, items. Horrific event. A slaughter. If you like, I can play at the end of this video if you like. I know I did it yesterday, but of this live stream, sorry. Sounds like a normal day in Who's life, almost definitely. The same happened at Lidice in Czech Republic. Yeah, there's lots of sites, isn't there, like that? I hadn't been to that one. I'd actually visit. I'd like to go to Croatia, actually, in the camper. Hello, Madman33. I hope you're well, my friend. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you. Nice. Yeah, up we go. Anyway, let's carry on with that, and then I'll be clocking off because I've got a live stream tonight as well. Blimey, all these live streams. Blimey, it's quite tiring actually doing live streams. You know that. Now we are, it seems, going to have to recognise this is Ann Possum. If you didn't know, Madmonk33, we're going to have to recognise that we are no longer a world leader or even a part of a world-beating group. Not even a CPE. Yeah, Possum has little time for delusions of grandeur, and the UK is a relatively small economy, and has to start acting like one. Well, if you look at the UK's economy, then you look at Germany's. It's like Germany's over 4 trillion, around 4 trillion, but the UK's at 2.7 trillion. But there's less value in it now. Now, possible ask, so what does that mean? First is you have to be more straight and narrow on your macro policies, not austerity, not self-destructive austerity, but you have to be more cautious. Not be like Truss and Quartain. Not promising to spend crazy amounts because you've got less room for error. The markets will punish you. And do you know what? I bet this is going to happen. Again, it happened with Truss and Quatain. Now, if you think what it's effectively another great big tax cut coming, I am not 100% opposed to this one about getting rid of inheritance tax. I think it should be, maybe it should be, instead of it being on the entire amount, I think we need to be looking at what because the tax has already been paid on the money spent. Maybe it should only be on the profit gained. Inheritance should be on the basis of what money's been accrued on that money. If somebody's already paid the money on that, that's kind of what happens all the time. I know things have been resold and resold. You're repaying taxes on the sale and again, especially with VAT. But VAT levels, even we should be looking at that. And this is something that George Eustace was saying this morning. I actually thought it made a lot of sense about for small to medium enterprises. He was actually emphasising. Now this is something actually. I don't know if they put it up now, but when I looked on the Sky interview with George Eustace, that clip did not get put on Sky. Just like the clip last week did get put on Sky, which is basically discrediting what's been going on. It's like, oh, can't say that. And George Eustace was saying about almost like socialism policies about in an ideal world we would get rid of VAT. Yeah, okay. Well, it's funny that clip didn't go online. Didn't go onto the Sky's Twitter page anyway. Well, it wasn't when I looked anyway, so it might be now. I don't know. But I very much doubt it. But it goes against the ethos of the actual Tory government. So I bet someone said don't put that out. Don't be a bit surprised. It's funny that, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, he was suggesting that we should look at the VAT for small to medium enterprises, what have you. I agree with that. I think that VAT should be lifted up to increase the threshold. I don't know the threshold. I think it used to be about 60,000 the threshold for VAT, unless you're into retail. Well, then you basically do VAT from the start. But when we were VAT registered, it was such a pain in the ass. If you're a small to medium enterprise with, say, for instance, you earn reasonable and you put it into the threshold for VAT, but you had very little costs to do your business, you're charging VAT. It's just another. You're just increasing your cost to do business for the client. Now, if you get rid of the VAT, you could bring your price down, become more competitive with the big boys. So small to medium enterprises can actually prosper faster and build up faster and become competitive. But when you got all these big players and they got, obviously they got more buying power, puts a lot of pressure on the smaller medium enterprise, small to medium enterprises, who are just into the VAT limits, but they can't claim anything back. Now, for me, when I was doing our building game, it made a lot of sense to be VAT registered because we could claim back all our building materials, our vehicles, and you do depreciation over 3 years and all that sort of stuff. We could claim all that stuff back. It's like when we bought our vans, when we bought we had Ford Rangers, double cabs and stuff, and when we would buy them, we got a massive. The first year on the tax, we got a massive rebate on the VAT. Made a lot of sense, Providing you had, you could only do it though if you had on the vehicles, what have you, those sort of vehicles, if it was over a 1 ton payload, 1 ton or higher payload, and which was, so it allowed us to claim back our VATs and VAT. So it made a huge amount of sense. So
you have accepted the truth.
Class action, hello, buddy. And how would the EU react to Scottish independence now? I think the EU would react very positively, but they'd be very concerned. I think last night I mentioned it, didn't I, about the border, what's going on in Northern Ireland, how are we going to deal with that border? I think Marx's biggest fan was saying, I can't remember how long it was, 76 miles or something, the border, Scottish border, and there's only about 25 crossings. Yeah. But for immigration reasons, have we got to put up a wall? With gun turrets, maybe. I don't know. But how would the EU react? I think they'll be very welcoming, and it'll be just a case of, as long as you fit the criteria, fit the bill, you'll be able to go through the process. Was it Article 49, or whatever it is, to join in the EU? You'll be able to. I don't see any reason why Scotland wouldn't be able to join the EU as long as it ticks all the boxes. Plain and simple. One of them will be a border. Remember, this flippin' Northern Ireland Protocol or the Windsor Framework isn't working already. They've already found it isn't working. Stuff in Northern Ireland is from the UK is finding its way in the EU already, and they're not happy about it. So how do we police this? But it'd be very interesting times. It'd be certainly something to talk about a lot. No, you know my views on it. I don't want Scotland to leave, but it has to happen. And why? Because they've been treated like shit. They are. The vitriol that comes from the Tory party towards the SNP and what have you. Remember that you can have vitriol towards a government if you want, but you got to remember that those people, the government was voted in by the people that you're trying to get on side. So what you're doing is you're discrediting the population you voted for them. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, Scotland's got to find its own way. It really has, and I kind of hope it happens now. So, I wish it didn't need to, but it does. I mean, if you get a point, I think you get a point, and yeah, I think so. Hope so. Work is the curse of the drinking class. I agree, it is. That's quite interesting. How would the EU react? That's actually quite an interesting point of view. But it's not gonna happen overnight. It could still take 10 years. It's not quick. Nothing with the EU is quick. Nothing. They can't. Yeah, they're still arguing with the US over GDPR. That's just GDPR. That's just one thing. You think of all the treaties? What, about 700 odd treaties between being negotiated while we're in the EU. Oh, it's nuts. Paris in the Philippines says Barnier has already stated that Scotland wouldn't be admitted. Barnier has no say. Sorry, he's no longer the... Yeah. That's... Other people have said other things, so... Mr...
The clock is ticking.
Michel Barnier, he's a bit on the right as well, isn't he? But I wouldn't necessarily buy too much, pay much attention to that, to be fair. He said a lot of things and what have you, and also he said makes a lot of sense as well. I was going to buy his book, actually. Yeah, no, I agree. Mark's the biggest fan. Scotland, in its current form, couldn't be admitted, but it can't be admitted because it's part of the UK at the moment. So that can't happen anyway. But so much damage has been done, and also there's going to have to be negotiations between Scotland and England regarding the energy grid and all the wind farms and what have you. Would it be the case? Leave without a deal. It could be. It might be the best thing for Scotland, being it has got, you also got mineral deposits as well, which is good. Scotland is current as couldn't be admitted. Barnier, the drunk from The Simpsons. Joel says, Mark, Allshorts. Heard about the Northern Ireland Protocol 1.1 not working, and 1.1, that's the Northern Ireland Protocol +1, which is the Windsor Framework, not working. Already there are EU deputies calling for it to terminate and return to before. Well, the Commission's they're going to look at the deal, aren't they? The trade deal as a whole very soon. If it's 2025, is it? Or 2026? 2025. If it's not working, there's going to be renegotiations again, isn't there? It's not going to work. The idea you're just going to have a red lane and a green lane, as if all of a sudden everyone's going to abide by that. Who's policing it? No one's policing it. The only way to police it is to have a border. It's just nuts. Vase off there said, I forgot Barnier existed. Most people did. He's been too busy writing his book, you see, and then he's been on his book tour recently. Yeah, early this year, he's doing his book tour. I quite like Michel Barnier. I think he was quite honest and what have you. But he was caught on a secret camera along with Guy Verdestat and somebody else in a they're having a conversation with each other about Northern Ireland, and it appears that that they could use Northern Ireland as a tool, to get a better deal for the EU. But obviously they're going to do that. It's kind of going to do whatever they do is going to be in the interest of the European Union, not the UK. 447 million people. Then you got obviously the rest of the those who got access to the market. So yeah, EU EFTA membership. Once Scotland goes independent, there will be a customs border between Scotland and England, says Chatty Rat. There'd have to be, wouldn't there? Even if it's a virtual one, there'd have to be something. What you need is you need something very uplifting.
I think it's rather uplifting.
Lorry scanners to scan the lorries as they're crossing the border. Will it work? Mixed pallets, everything, the whole lot. You see, yeah. So that's another problem. Oh my God, mixed pallets. Oh my God, phytosanitary. Oh my God, oh dear. Number 3 says I'm not gaming today. Hello, number 3. I hope you're well. Are you making any videos today? What happens to the British military if Scotland leaves the Union? I don't know. Crikey, there'll be no, be no lifting of the old kilts, will there? To scare off the opposition. Like, hang on, that was oh, yeah. Oh God. Joe, exactly, Marcus. They want to end this child play when the deal has to be renegotiated, yeah. And the UK may even lose the perks it has now. Yep. Well, we end up with no deal. Still possible, No deal is still on the cards. If the EU Parliament keeps drifting to where it is going. Well, there's a lot more checks. We've got the EU's version of the online safety bill coming into play. That is with GDPR. The whole thing it's kind of interconnected. That with the online safety bill as well. Crikey. The EU's already been over to Thierry Britain, to the Twitter's headquarters, and doing stress testing on their security for, basically the people who utilise it. They want to make sure it's compatible with the new safety online safety standards that are coming in. They've got to make sure everything is hunky dory and it's all tickly boo, and the people of the EU are safe to carry on using Twitter. And he said yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we will turn it off if it's not. We will block its access into the EU. And this isn't just Twitter. This is all social media platforms, including Meta, Facebook, what have you, and including the messaging services as well. All of them. If they don't protect, if they don't responsibly act on stuff that is on their platforms in a responsible manner, they will block them. And they will. I can just say it now. DNS servers and all that sort of stuff. I imagine that's what they'd have to do. What happens to the British military of Scotland leaves? Like I say, do kilt lifting. Get out your sporrans. 10%, and Mark's biggest fan. 10% of national and 50% of international assets are due to Scotland, yes, including military, embassies, etc. The devil in skirts. That's a like cat. Oh, there's a massive amount of assets, isn't there? Scotland's got. You got that stone of Scone as well. Yeah, you got to have your stone of Scone. It will be very interesting times, and I think I do believe it's got to be better off without our interference. It'll be a tough ride to start with. It's not going to be easy. Bloody hell, no. But at least it's a potentially a positive outcome. What we're doing in the UK is just literally crippling ourselves left, right, and centre. Carry on up the Kai, but oh yeah, that's it. Oh, I love the old carry on. Oh, crikey. What's his name again? Oh, my Gideon. I think my laugh is a bit like his. Oh, crikey. Yeah. Pretty much all gone now, isn't it? Even Barbara isn't Windsor with her jubblies. Yeah, she's gone. Blind me. There. Is that huge gravel quarry still going on in the west coast of Scotland? The one with its own harbour and long conveyors to take the gravel to the load of ships. Amazing place. I don't know. We went past, actually, was it gravel? It might be a quarry. Oh, what was it? Oh, no, it was lime. Lime. That was a lime quarry. And there was these long conveyors parallel with the road that we were travelling on. This was last 3 years ago now. It was in the Dordogne. And it must have been, this conveyor, it was miles long. Miles long. It went straight to the kilns. Starlink is the future, says Powers in the Philippines. I don't know if it is, to be honest. We've got so much space debris as it is. And also radiation that these things are giving off is actually spoiling our vision for deep space astronomy, deep space astronomy. There's so much crap up there now. You know, you could be able to use a scope and what have you and just scanning the skies and you'd keep things coming across. Starlink, is it the future? Not if Russia or China, you know, their satellite destroyers get out there and blow them all up. They're warned about it. They're fed up with it. Spy satellites, they call them. Even though it's not spy satellites, but they could be. Yeah, Starlink. All that Starlink communications satellite systems that you're using with that flipping submarine that imploded. The Titan. They keep losing communications. Well, we're on fibre now, and it's darn sight better than what we had, but it does the bandwidth goes up and down like a flipping yo-yo. It really does. You know, it's either really fast or mediocre. Oh yeah, isn't it? Oh, I've done it again. Oh blimey. What did Mad Monk say? What do you say, Mad Monk? Don't get me started on Charlie Fatfingers not swearing the oath of the Scottish Crown. Do you know Charlie Fatfingers? He didn't swear the oath on the Scottish Crown. Traitor. Flipping idiot that bloke is. Oh, I can't stand him. Sorry. He's an angry little man. He really is. And so is his son, William. They're both just angry. Horrible little critters. They put on a smiley face, but behind the scenes, they're just nasty. Oh, viva la Premier Democratie Republic. Oh, depuis la prise de la Bastille. On the 14th of July. 1789. We need that. In the UK, we need a Bastille. Where would we go? Where? Okay, what prison are we going to be hanging these people from? In the UK. Now, I've got the ideal one, actually. It's a lovely square fort on top of a mound. It looks fantastic. So that I reckon I nominate Norwich Castle to be our Bastille. Which also used to be a prison. I think it was 1100 or something. Built in the 1100s. Early 1900s, it was a prison. I think that's right. Anyway, they've already managed to hang people, hung, drawn, and caught one individual. It used to be my ancestor, Robert Kett. Kett's Rebellion, or they hang him. They've got German mercenaries. Yeah, in there. Got him, they did. Out of his oak tree that he was hiding in. And then they hung, drawn, and caught him and made an example of him. Yeah. I could have been a major landowner by now. Did you know that? Yeah. It pretty much owned a big chunk of Norfolk. Anyway, Viva... We've done that already, haven't I? These players. Bernard Breslau made me laugh in that carry on up the Khyber. Oh, it's funny. Bernard Breslau, well, they all are. So funny. I just love those programmes. Oh, I could watch them now. It's just so funny. That's the real thing that so-called wokeism. I would say it's more about political correctness gone mad, because it's not wokeism. It's not about woke. It's just it's been bastardized. But political correctness it's gone a bit silly. Can't say anything anymore. Buddha goes. I think it's a crying shame. I think it is, because it hits comedy. You know, the things that were funny. I'm not talking about stuff that is obviously racist stuff like that. I'm talking about this is squitty humour. You know, I used to love all that stuff. So funny. You know, as long as you can take as much as you give, so there's a balance. Do you know what I mean? I just think it's fun. Sorry. And I love Little Britain. The computer said no.
Computer says no.
I'm not allowed to. It's political correctness, you see. Oh, dear. I have a German mercenary blood in my dad's side, Marcus. Oh, I'm going to blame you then. Oh, dear me. Anything for a bit of money, eh? But they came to Portugal. Oh, I see. Catapult them to the rings of fire. Scary. That'd be after a curry, a vindaloo. Chocolate hazelnut biscotti. Ooh, to go with a butterscotch put. Oh my giddy aunt, that sounds so nice. Mad Jack Churchill, about to crazy brave as you could get. Bagpipes, longbow, and sword, but in the World War II battles. Mad Jack Churchill. Peter Rook. Charlie is not popular. No, he's not. He's not popular. I could see him being the end of the royal family. I could. Yeah. What gets me about him a little bit is he's such a hypocrite. He goes on about the environment and homeopathy. Or say go on about, yeah, but we know he's advocates for the environment, which obviously I'm very keen about. But and then he biggest waste of everything. Oh, just a hypocrite. Anyway, back into this. Back we go into this, and then we're going to make a move. Done that bit. Okay. So third, going back to austerity, public investment, and the UK. Third, going back to the austerity, public investment, and the UK is at worst an emerging market. It's not a developing country. It's not a ruined economy, but, you know, there is room to do public investment. The UK needs to prioritise the NHS, most definitely, public transport, power grid, water. It has to do better on nutrition for poor kids. He's quite a chunky geezer himself, actually, so, you know, pot kettle black there. But anyway, there are basic things that everybody recognises need doing. Now, those basic things include paying nurses, doctors and teachers more, government trying to use inflation as an excuse to squeeze them further does not convince Adam Possum. Now, the problem is that the UK is currently sailing into exactly the opposite direction, driven on by an urge to be the player on the world stage, such as CPTPPTCP. Meanwhile, the NHS is crumbling, education and training are underfunded, Thames Water, well, is a basket case, and the energy crisis hit the UK harder than most, and children are going hungry. It's actually getting worse, Possum says. Now, there is, of course, an elephant in the room, an obvious answer to many of these problems. You've got a de facto move to a much closer, or much softer, Brexit as quickly as possible on a unilateral basis. You've got to start look more like Norway and Switzerland, for the sake of the British people and the British economy, he says. That's because not seeking to distance the UK economy from the EU standards on food and agricultural products, keeping this CE mark and not creating our own, abiding by the EU chemical safety rules and a dozen other things, and stop testing on blinking animals. Once you've actually done that, it will have a real near-term effects. It will not require negotiations with the EU to implement and will alleviate some of the investment and business planning uncertainty, because you're saying we're not going to diverge in this industry or that regulation. Makes us attractive again. Then you can start talking about rejoining. Not from a political sense, but from the economic point of view. Unilaterally moving as fast as possible to maintain a regulatory single market type alignment, to be more like a European free trade country. That's the best thing you can do. Move towards being like Switzerland and Norway. Obviously, that's because Brexit had actually happened. Otherwise, being in the EU is obviously the best thing we could have done, but we're not in there at the moment. No. Some flippin' nutters. Yeah, a bunch of kippers that put the cross in the wrong box. So, we are not a world power, we're heading into the wrong direction, and we need reform to invest and improve productivity urgently. To do that, we need to be closer to the EU, and most importantly, to stop the government's war on its own country. Until we do, things can only get worse. You ain't a flipping kidding. Every day, something negative happens. Okay, you can argue that, the signing and what have you with the CPTPP, that, well, it is positive in some light, but what was it, 1.6 or 1.8 billion benefit in 15 or 10 or 15 years? We need some benefit now. Well, that's just on their models and what have you, and on certain scenarios, but if we keep crippling the country's ability to do the work, or farming to be able to farm the foodstuffs, are we going to get any benefit? To me, it just seems as a way of extracting money out of the country. We're going to be getting more importation of, especially foodstuffs, which is obviously going to cripple farming massively. The thing about farming is if you take remove a part of their economy, such as the sugar beet, for instance. Sugar beet farmers in the UK, they don't necessarily just grow sugar beet, they grow other stuff as well. But they're likely to disappear. Sugar beet farmers in the UK are likely to disappear because when we're in the EU, the sugar beet farmers were protected under quotas. The amount of, for the UK, is 70,000 tonnes of imported cane sugar. And now, since Brexit, they've now upped it to 270,000 tonnes. Well, that is a direct competitor of sugar beet. Cantley and Norfolk processes sugar beet. Actually, they've actually stopped processing sugar there at the moment because they don't know what's around the corner. And also, they had a bit of an explosion in December last year, so they had some problems, you could say. So the fact they had a major incident, they said. But anyway. But the farmers, so the sugar beet at the moment has been shipped other processing in the UK. The likelihood of Cantley actually being restarted is going to be quite slim because the market's changing for them. We're getting more imported sugar stuff from abroad. Now, Tate and Lyle are importers of cane sugar. It's a UK company, British company, but the thing is, it's not supporting British farmers. Whereas Silver Spoon or what have you, British Sugar, well, they're there for the British sugar, sugar beet farmers and what have you, and Silver Spoon, the processing of Cantley and places like that, processing sugar. So there's a whole industry being destroyed because of importation of overseas products, and the same is going to happen in every industry in the sense of beef, pork, farming in general is going to be completely. They're going to be devastated, and the standards of imported foodstuffs are going to deteriorate. I got on about it a bit before regarding imported chicken from Poland, and it's had salmonella in it. It's actually killed 6 people already. So there's no checks. Okay, checks are going to be implemented very soon, but then there's also another problem. We're going to see a massive shift of foodstuffs on the supermarket shelves in the UK, and they're all going to be coming from New Zealand and Australia and places like that. Well, that doesn't support British farming, does it? Or British industry in general. It's nuts. Oh, hello, Son of a Viking. We've got Son of a Viking, have we? Oh, do. I have visions of Portuguese peasants beach combing for driftwood and suddenly finding a Prussian or two washed up on the beach. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. And he also said, so your family didn't emigrate. They were just washed up there. Oh, I see. That's where you come from, though. Cheeky fellas. Blimey. Well, I am going to call that it now because I've gone over my hour. I don't know exactly a Marcus hour. Do you want me to play that clip again? The one of Orador Sir Glenn? I can do that. Give us a thumbs up if you like. If you want to do that one, and I'll play that while I say goodbye. Go live again tonight. Remember that. It should be around 8 o'clock, 8:30. Depends on what time I get finished today. So it's already 3 o'clock here. God, every time I want to do an hour, it always ends up being 2 hours or more. Oh my giddy, that's just so much to say, isn't there? Rants. Got a rant. Get it out of your system. That's what you got to do. That you have. Oh dear. There we go. Sweeteners are very bad, especially aspartame, because apparently it gives you cancer now, according to the WHO. I'm Mark's biggest fan. Mellow annoys me. You all say Portugal is a nice place. People are very poor. They're living in slum neighbourhoods. I think we need to think about what we see as rich. I think rich has come in many forms. It's not just monetary. You know, if you've got a good standard of living and you're happy with with the card you've been dealt and the life, well then I feel that you're rich. You know, I'm broke. You know, I've got very little money, and you sort of as it comes in, it goes out again. But I live in a very lovely place. It's different riches, you know. So we're very fortunate in that way. So did you just get rid of that? Don't need that anymore. No, don't need that anymore. Oh, click! Oh, like button. Oh yeah, please. Helps the channel, you know. Why ain't that working? Oh, it is. Prussian officers were intensely disliked by other Germans for their haughtiness. Imagine out-Germaning the other Germans. Oh, dear me. Probably. Maybe. I'll use natural honey as a sweetener. Not the industrial thing. Well, a lot of the honey that's in the UK is actually, a lot of it's come from China. And a lot of it, it's watered down with just sugars and syrups. Some of it was ending up with products coming to the EU, and the EU kicked up a fuss about it. Imagine it'd be like Gale's squirty honey. I haven't bought a bag of sugar for years. I'll use sweeteners in my tea. Just keep away from aspartame, if you can. There's Stelvia. Stelvia, that's plant-based. Who's never done it, Thomason? I just had a Sunday lunch. Doesn't gravy granules look like mouse droppings? Yes. Don't use gravy granules. You make your own gravy. I make my own gravy. Don't need gravy granules. Tate and Vile will be chuffed in. Yeah, Tate. It's like Andrew Tate. He's vile as well. Yeah, Tate and I are going to be very chuffed. Remember, they were sponsoring the Tory party. They were one of the Tory donors. Because they want to get rid of these sanctions, these quotas on imports into the UK. So yeah, they will be very, very happy. Well, they are very happy. Rubbing their hands together at the moment. 270,000 tons of imported cane sugar. That is literally the complete production of that's coming out of Cantley Sugar Works. Toilet paper deal that's worth a Mars bar and some belly button fluff. Nice. What? Anyway, it is time for me to go. I said it a moment ago, but I must make a move. So, I've got so much stuff to do. That I have. So, I'm going to say ta-ta, but I played this last night. I'll play it again, I think. That I am. So thanks a lot for the super chats, what have you. It's really pretty. It really is pretty. I couldn't do this without your super chats and stuff. Because the views, I don't get enough views. I'm not Phil Morehouse, for instance, and it's a packet from what he's doing. But yeah, it's donations and stuff like that. It makes a massive difference and it makes it all possible. So what I'll do is I'm gonna play this, and this is Orador Siglen. I did play it last night. Don't feel that you have to watch it if you don't have to. But anyway, thank you very much, and thanks to the spanners. I saw some spanners, I did. So thank you very much for joining us today. Number 3 and Man Monk 33, and who else was here? Look it up. Oh no. Who else was that? I don't know if I saw. That's it. So anyway, thank you for your help and watching today, and I'll be on again probably at 8:30 UK time. Not quite 100% certain, but I'll put the card up so you can see. Hopefully notification goes out. So anyway, thank you very much and enjoy. Well, in case you're wondering where we are at the village Matai here in France, in the Limousin. And if you're wondering why I'm talking quietly, it's because, you know, I suppose out of respect really, and they do like you to be quiet here. So just, you know, I'm just going to talk quietly and calmly and try and tell you the story of Oradour-sur-Glane here in France. It's quite a sad story. There's no getting away from it. It's brutal, horrific, and as such, Charles de Gaulle, in his wisdom, decided that what was left of this village of Oradour-sur-Glane was to be left in memoir, to remind us all of the brutality of men, and how we should never ever allow tyrannical rule to rule again. No. Now, if you look behind me, this is just one small part of Oradour-sur-Glane, and all these buildings after the SS entered this village and killed 648 people. Only 7 people survived. In fact, the last remaining survivor, Robert, he died in February of this year, in 2023. And didn't he have some stories to tell? And oh my God, I'm going to try and do it some justice. Try to. But like I say, I will be talking relatively softly because you've got to think about the other people here as well. Now, I've been there a few times now, probably about 15 actual times I've visited this place, and it's tragic. It really is tragic. But this place has now been left in memoir of. And Oradour-sur-Glane, where I live, well, there's a bit of an attached story to that as well. But this was it wasn't really a market town, no, but people used to trade here. But the locals and what have you were, well, the local villages, as in local hamlets and what have you, they were quite self-sufficient. The farmers would actually grow stuff for themselves, and if they got a little bit of surplus, they would sell it, and that's how they got their pennies. Yeah, none of this kind of, I've got to go to work 9 to 5 just to earn money so you can buy food. No, they worked 9 to 5 so they could actually, and probably much longer, to be able to grow the food to survive. And whatever surplus was their money. They bartered with it. They sold it. The food, that is. Yeah. In the heart of this, in the French countryside, this small village, Oradour-sur-Glane, stands as testament to the horrors of war and the depths of human cruelty. You know, Hitler and his SS. Now, Oradour-sur-Glane was a more peaceful and rather unassuming community, which Adolf Deichmann, commander of the Nazis' 4th SS Panzer Grenadier Regiment, he'd been ordered to retrieve, captured a Nazi officer. And he was, to go to the nearest town and take hostages, 30 odd hostages, and bargain. But instead, he planned the town's destruction, and it became forever etched in history as a site of one of the most tragic events of World War II. But behind this tragedy lies a lesser known belief. I wonder what that is. A haunting suspicion that the real target was the neighbouring village of Oradour-sur-Glane. That happens to be where I live, where the French resistance had found its stronghold. Now, it was in June the 10th in 1944 about 90 odd years, something anyway. Yeah. And it's a day that began like any other day in Old Dorset Glen. Now the villagers, they went about their daily routines and unaware of the storm that was about to engulf them. Now the sound of German military vehicles broke the serene silence, sending chills down the spines of unexpected residents. Now Nazi soldiers swiftly surrounded the village, sealing the fate of its, innocent inhabitants. The men were separated from the women and children and ushered into barns and garages. And, their lives would soon be mercilessly extinguished in an act of unfathomable cruelty. The Nazis, they began executing the men one by one with cold precision. Now the echoes of gunshots could be heard in the air, mingling with cries of anguish and desperation. Meanwhile, the women and children, they were herded into the village church. Fear and confusion, as it reigned it did, as they clung on to each other, praying for a miracle. A miracle. They were doomed. No, they were hoping they would be spared from the impending horror. But that miracle, it never came. And the Nazis locked the doors and set the church ablaze, trapping all the innocents inside. Now the flames, they engulfed that sacred space, turning it into an inferno of pain and suffering. The temperature was so intense, it was like napalm, and the bronze bell, it melted and fell to the floor, on top of those inside. Now, there's a rather large investment, as you can see, for renovations of the church and other buildings around this site because of the vegetation and other problems of these exposed buildings. Well, the remains of that is the water gets into them, it swells, expands with the frost and what have you, and pushes the walls apart. The water gets in, washes it out, and they collapse in no time at all. So this site here, it takes constant work, constant maintenance. There are 247 women in this church and 205 children. They died in the attack. And the only survivor was one lady, a 47-year-old. Her name was Marguerite Ruffranche. Now she escaped through, the rear sacristy window, followed by a young woman and child. And all three were shot, and two of them fatally. They died on the spot. Only 7 people survived the massacre. 5 men who were protected by fallen bodies. A woman who had escaped through a window, that rear window in that church. And a child who managed to escape before Der Führer's regiment began rounding up the townspeople. The one survivor, Robert Hebers, he is the last survivor of World War II, of Old Dorset Glen massacre. But he passed. He passed away in February 2023. So nobody, is alive today to tell the tale. No. Now, Robert Hebers, he worked tirelessly to preserve the memory of these events, which resulted in 643 deaths. And he died at the age of 97. Not bad going, wouldn't you say? Now, he was only 18 years old when the Der Führer regiment of the Waffen-SS Das Reich armoured division occupied the town. Now, the men, like I say, were put in barns, and the women and children in the church. Now, for young Robert Heber, like I say, he's only 18 years old. For him, he ended up in the Loudy barn with around 60 others, under the guard of the detachment and 2 machine guns.
After an hour, the shooting started, and the bodies were then inspected, and the wounded were, well, they were finished off with a pistol, and the building was then set on fire. Now only 6 wounded survived, hidden under the corpses. And by the end of that horrific day in Orador-Siglen, that laid in ruins it did, and once a rather vibrant village. Busy it was, yeah, completely reduced to ashes, leaving behind a ghostly reminder of the atrocities committed there. Now, 648 innocent lives had been brutally taken, leaving, grieving families and a scar on the collective memory of the people of France. But all of us, actually, who come and visit this place, like I said earlier, it has to be, it stands testament to the reasons why we must not allow tyrannical rule to ever rule again. But as the years passed, now whispers emerged among the survivors and historians that suggested a different narrative. Some believed that the true target of the Nazi wrath was not Orador-Siglen, but the neighbouring village, Orador-Severe, where I live. Yeah. It's nestled away. It's only a few kilometres away. It only takes about 30 minutes to get here. Now, Orador-Severe had become a hotbed of resistant activity, a clandestine hub for those fighting against the German occupation of France. According to this theory, the Nazis had intended to decimate Orador-Severe, and as a means of eradicating the resistance movement. However, the resistance was informed of the impending attack, and through misdirection, tricked the Nazis into attacking Orador-Siglen instead, where we are here today. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Since Orador-Siglen, it became a hotbed for communist Spanish refugees. Well, that's as the story goes. When the German forces realised, though, their mistake, they decided to carry out their brutal acts of vengeance, regardless, unwilling to let their intended target escape punishment. Well, this alternative perspective brings a chilling layer of complexity to the, tragedy of Orador-Siglen. It suggests that the innocent lives lost that day were not just victims, no, but also casualties of a larger resistance movement. The village, with its unsuspecting inhabitants, became collateral damage in a relentless pursuit of control and dominance. Now, whether Orador-Siglen was the intended target or not, the tragedy remains the same. The loss of innocent lives, the destruction of a tight-knit community, and the scars etched into the survivors' hearts are indelible reminders of the horrors of war. Haunting ruins of Orador-Siglen, they stand as testament to the fragility of peace and, the unyielding darkness that can overshadow even the most idyllic corners of the world. Now today, Orador-Siglen serves as a memorial and sombre reminder of the atrocities committed during World War II. Now, we all must never allow tyrannical governments, movements, to engulf society ever again. That's what I say. I hope you enjoyed my little movie about the massacre of Orador-Siglen. Maybe you'd like to, give me your thoughts, not just for me, but for others as well, in the comments down below. It's a very sad story. Now, some people have told me they should flatten this place. Yeah, maybe make it a garden or something like that. Yeah, and just forget about it all. It's like it never happened. I think that's madness. Did Charles de Gaulle make the right decision to preserve this town in memoir? I think so. You tell me. Leave in the comments down below. Ta-ta.